Hi and welcome. I'm Jennifer Bonoff, founder of BuildYourDigitalBrand.com. Doug and I are excited to share our interview series on personal branding. Hear from a diverse group of experts on the purpose and benefits of establishing your brand. Learn how to stand out and be memorable.
Okay, we're here today with Mel Carson. Mel is the founder of Delightful Communications, a modern marketing and digital PR consulting agency. He's a social media, personal branding, and digital PR speaker and strategist who has worked in digital marketing since the year 2000. Mel spent 7 years as the digital marketing evangelist for Microsoft, and he's been featured in Forbes, USA Today, the Financial Times, Entrepreneur.com, and many other publications. He's the author of the critically acclaimed Pioneers of Digital and Introduction to Personal Branding. Welcome, Mel. Thank you for joining us today on the Build Your Digital Brand interview series.
Thank you very much, Doug. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, well, let's get right to it. First question I have for you today. I saw on your website that your mission is to help clients make their message and purpose be more discoverable, shareable, and memorable. What advice would you give to someone who wants to build their personal brand but has not yet identified their true purpose?
My advice, the reason why we start with trying to uncover people's professional purpose is because too often, because of social media, people feel that they can just go out there and tweet a bit and start a few YouTube channels or videos and whatnot, but they haven't really thought about why they're doing what they're doing. And so what we encourage people to do before looking at different social media channels or writing books or whatever it is that they want to do is to really understand what makes them tick from a professional perspective. So we have an exercise when we do workshops called 5 in 5, which is literally in the course of 5 minutes with a partner, jotting down things like your educational background or how you got into your niche. Thinking about, is there any stories, are there any stories or anecdotes about your background, both professionally and personally, that make you stand out, that are unique? What are your professional passions? What do you really enjoy about your current job or your role or the industry that you're in? What do you find hard? Because I think too often people feel the need, especially in a business perspective or a professional perspective, to really put their best foot forward and try and have an unshatterable image. But at the end of the day, both professionally, within our industries and personally through our personal brands, we're trying to build up trust with people, and we don't always trust people who seem a little bit too good to be true. So thinking about what you find hard and being able to admit that maybe you've got opportunities to grow in some areas, and then at the end of the day really trying to pin down where you want to be in 2 or 3 years time. 5-year plans are a little bit far out these days with the modern work and career, but 2 to 3 years out, start really building a plan. And once you actually have a plan and you know where you want to go, you want to understand who your audience is, who is it you're targeting with your personal brand. That's when you can start putting together a kind of vision, a mission, elevator pitches and value propositions for you as a person and a professional, and then thinking about different tactics, whether they be in-person things like speaking at events or networking, going to networking events, and then the all-important things like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, how you're using digital to really stand out from the crowd as well.
Okay, very good. If a client came to you with no visible personal branding, what 3 things would you tell them to do first to start the process of establishing their own digital brand?
Well, at Delightful, we get a lot of clients coming to us and again, as I've kind of said, they immediately want to become an Instagram superstar, or they want 1 million followers on Twitter overnight. I think, first of all, you start thinking about your professional purpose. Why is it that you do what you do beyond needing a paycheck? Because then you can start building out your brand from the inside out. Secondly, it would be thinking about your audience. Who are you trying to target with your personal brand? are you looking to attract recruiters or HR people or folks from businesses in order to hire you? Are you looking for a new job? Do you have some wisdom or expertise in whatever niche that you're in, and you think that, okay, first step first, I'm going to write a book. You know, you need an agent, you need a publisher. How are you going to position yourself and tell your story to make you stand out from the hundreds of thousands of other people that are also trying to attract agents and publishers? Thinking about as far as your story is concerned and how you position yourself of what's unique about what you do, and really the third thing around that positioning around the audience is also having a look at your competition, because there are going to be other people out there that are potentially vying for that job, potentially vying for that speaking slot, potentially in your niche and already doing a better job getting speaker engagements or being interviewed by journalists or getting those bigger and better jobs than you. Going out and actually doing some research to see who your personal competition is out there is as important as businesses doing that all the time. You know, if you think about, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, the whole soft drinks, anyone in branding is taking a look at their competition in business, and we should be doing the same with that kind of approach with our personal brands as well. Because the idea is that you are able to spot what they're doing well, spot what they're doing badly, and see how you can differentiate and stand out. Because at the end of the day, especially when it comes to things like social media and creating content, we want to make sure that we are creating an experience for people online that is so compelling that people are spending more time with us than they are our competition.
True. As a branding consultant, you work with a wide variety of people with different levels of experience. How can someone fresh out of college or someone with just entry-level job experience create a personal brand that's going to make them stand out?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, because I lecture at the University of Washington, and I think last summer actually did some talks for the Girls Who Code organization. So I was in a room with 40 girls aged between 15 and 19 years old who were all furiously on their phones, they told me afterwards, deleting old photo bucket accounts, of silly things that they'd posted in 7th grade. And so I think for college leavers, it's to really, especially in, 2017, to think about, if you're leaving college, you've probably got 10 years worth of social media that could be potentially damning to your personal brand, because a lot of recruiters do actually, they'll look at your resume, they'll look at your LinkedIn, but they'll also do some searches on Facebook and Instagram or whatever to see what you've been up to. To see if you've posted something really silly, but also to see what kind of content you're posting or sharing or liking, to see whether you fit in with their company culture. So for college leavers, we recommend that you do a little hygiene and sanity check on your social channels up until now. Then you think about your mission straight out of college. Where is it that you initially want to go with your career? And think about your audience. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date, because that is a place that people will recruiters and potential employees will look at, as well as your resume. But also, very importantly, making sure that you are targeting any outreach to those particular jobs and roles. We take on interns at Delightful, but it's our kind of way of giving back and educating the future workforce. So we take students in, and I'm very, very surprised by the amount of resumes and outreach that is just completely untargeted and is very generic. I think in this day and age, We're much better marketers because we've got social media in our hands and in our smartphones and on our laptop computers. So we really need to think about our audience and make sure that any outreach is targeted and that we stand out from everybody else that might be applying for that job.
Okay. I had planned to ask you something a little bit about online reputation management, but you really kind of covered it pretty well with that answer as well. And so we'll just go right into, creating content and publishing content. Do you think that it's really beneficial for individuals to create content that's related to their industry or areas of expertise to increase their online visibility and to also establish their authority?
Yes, I do. We call it aura. We've kind of distilled the science of great content. At the end of the day, if you're static online, as in you only update your LinkedIn profile when you're looking for a new job, you're not on Twitter, or you might be on Twitter and you might be on Facebook. That's pretty static. You're only going to reach a certain amount of people. If you create content, whether it be blog posts or contributed articles to online publications within your niche, or put yourself out there as maybe an expert source of wisdom and expertise to journalists and influencers and bloggers, you're not going to increase the halo effect. So you're really looking to try and increase the halo effect of your experience and expertise. We have an acronym called AURA, halo effect. Get it? AURA.
I got it.
And it's that you create content that's authentic, that is authentic to you, that you have put together based on your experience, that's useful. People will keep coming back if the content that you're sharing and your expertise is actually useful to them. Making sure that it is relevant, obviously, to your target audience, because obviously, with us being bombarded with so many marketing messages from brands, as soon as people start bombarding you with irrelevant content, people are going to unfollow you, or they're not going to share it because it's not relevant to them. But then most importantly of all, make sure that content's actionable, so that there is some kind of takeaway, that somebody will go away and implement one of your top 10 tips on whatever it is, or they will watch that video, or that they will share that content because it's been so good that they know 5 or 6 other people that might find it useful. So I do believe creating content is good. You don't have to be blogging every day. You can just put yourself down a communication cadence, we call it, where we say, okay, I'm going to check LinkedIn once a day and comment and share some articles that I find that are relevant from the people that I'm following. But once a month, I'm going to write a blog post and an article and be very intentional and purposeful about what that content is, making sure that it resonates with my target audience, and that I spend a bit of time making sure that I disseminate across social channels and with people I know and different influencers in my niche that might be able to increase that halo effect for me. And then all that means is that you build up loyalty with loyal fans, you build up trust with people because you become a go-to expert in your niche. And it really does set you on the path to being somebody who then becomes an influencer in whatever target audience you're trying to reach.
Fantastic. Well, that's a lot of good information. I hope that our viewers get a lot of insight out of it, and
I hope so too.
Put it to good use. So, Mel Carson, thank you for being with us here today on the Build Your Digital Brand interview series. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much, Doug. Cheers.
Cheers.